And welcome back. I am Melody from Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. I'm going to try to give you a garden tour today. I usually do one every Saturday, but the reason why I have not been doing them is because it's been up in the hundreds here and it keeps shutting off my phone. So we're at the front of the garden. So let's start with this here. There's been a lot of changes. Of course, things will look different. Lots of pollinators. I get hummingbirds. That is an heirloom squash right there with just some flowers. My cone flower has seen better days. I'm not sure. I mean, I put the mulch around it and it looked really good. Some of these are dying back, but then there's a new bloom there. I'm not sure if I should cut them or not, like trim it off. And then you have the tick seed. I think that's what it's called. The tick flower. It's doing really good. And flowers, some of them, you know, my Benjamin buttons are looking kind of dry over there. And then I'm doing another concession of cucumbers that I've been doing pretty good. I stick my finger down, this needs some water. Okay, so I'm trying to plant more cucumbers. So I put one here, one in the back. This is this sunflower here that the head just dropped. This is the bed on the right, which is beans galore. These are the red noodle beans. I'm letting some dry. You can see all the flowers. I have green beans up here. It must be the rattlesnake pole beans. I'm out here early in the morning, so the bees are buzzing. This is the rattlesnake pole beans in here. And then I'm still getting regular beans. It's thinning a little bit. I've been so busy, I haven't even been out here picking. And look at the size of the bean. I have to pick my Kentucky pole beans. That is what is over here. Not sure what that is. Rattlesnake pole beans. These are all bush beans. No, Kentucky pole beans. Rattlesnake pole beans, and these are all bush beans. And the Chinese red noodle beans. I think they're really cute to grow them. I've tried to eat a few, like I'm just letting these dry on here. They're different, very cute, aesthetically pleasing. When you come into the garden, as you can see, some are dying back, some are drying off because the tomatoes have been taking over. This is the bed to the left. This is all tomatoes. You can see I still have a ton. I have more I have to pick. There's just a lot going on. I mean, it's like a chore of picking tomatoes twice a day. Okra. This one is ready to be harvested, but I am growing okra. The flower was out the other day and I didn't get a picture of it. My other okra that's over here, it's a little bit smaller, but it's still living. I even have the Chinese red noodle beans even dropping down. There's so many. So this is the trellis. Look at them. Beautiful. Tried not to get it to climb up like this, but it did it anyway. So yeah, so back to the tomatoes. They're not the prettiest thing to look at, but the production on the tomatoes have been unbelievable. I have been getting pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds twice a day. And as you can see, there's more in there to pick. Today is Saturday. I did a harvest yesterday, the day before. Every day I'm picking tomatoes. And I'm running out of freezer space. But they're giants. They're up there even trying to climb the trellis. So this is the front, sunflower there. And the beans. I showed you the beans. Let's go in to the garden. So welcome to my garden. Yeah, I can't believe I missed the flower on my okra. So I'm going to pick this one off today, I think. And I have to get out here and harvest beans. I have lots of cherry tomatoes. I think some of the sustainable seeds Didn't say they were cherries, but they got planted in the bed. Lima beans. I forgot that I planted them. The pods are forming. I don't know if I'm supposed to wait for the bean, but they're doing pretty good. This plant here, this bean one, isn't looking too good, but there's lots of beans in here that need to be harvested again. And I've gotten at least, let me see, 50, 100. I've gotten about, out of this bed by itself, these beans, because the more you pick, see, look at that. That is the Kentucky pole bean, and that one's already drying, so I really have to pick. I've gotten probably about, I don't know, I have it written down somewhere, 300 pounds maybe of just beans. So for a brand new garden, it has been doing fantastic, and I had my doubts, trust me. So showed you the bean bed. This is the tomato bed. We're going to see things rigged very funny. There's tomatoes all in here. Interesting thing is, can you see that? In the middle, that's what it's like trying to pick tomatoes. Let's talk about the pepper bed, which is right behind the first bed. This is half hot, the other half is sweet. Prolific. The fajito pepper, prolific, and so is the shishito pepper. There's so many on there. These are, I know I said it wrong last time, the cow horns. I think I'm saying it right this time. I have gotten a 14-inch pepper off of one of these plants. And yeah, peppers are doing great. I'll be doing another harvest. Jalapenos are on there. They're doing good. They're loving this heat. I'm out here early in the morning, hoping to be able to do this video. This is all the sweet. And here's peppers. My crazy nasturtium. Look at it. That's the lemon basil. I'm going to pick more leaves, and the bees are loving the seeds. But my pepper beds have been doing phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. So I'll do like a year in review of what I think, what I would do differently. So that's half hot, half sweet. And can we talk? Look at the size. And I am 5'8½", and some of these plants are coming up to my shoulder. This is all sweet peppers, every kind you can think of. Let's see. Did you see my sweet pepper video? There's red. There's more red. I love the reds. I did a video on this of yellow leaves and why it's happening for Shed Wars, so stay tuned for that video. But this is what it looks like. It's really, really full. Goes all the way down to there. They're so tall. Looking pretty good. Lots of buds. See all the buds? So I'm hoping this goes all the way till the frost comes. I have peppers that are weighing down the plant that I need to pin up. And there's that doozy right there. So yeah. Peppers are doing good. Here is a variegated pepper plant. I thought I had did something wrong. This is the candy cane that I purchased. The one plant that I purchased. And this is what the leaves look like. This isn't from me pouring anything on it or anything like that. It's a variegated plant, in case you've never seen one before. I've had a few problems in this bed. I did do a video on it, just haven't posted it. In case you know, I keep a trash bucket nearby. Look at all the peppers. Now that's a doozy of a pepper right there. Look at that. And there's a huge one right there. And this is, let's see, the Carmen Italian sweet pepper. So they're doing phenomenal. They all are, really. They're all just doing really, really good, but it's getting so condensed in here, you can barely walk up the aisles, even considering what the storms have done. So, showed you the first, half sweet, half hot. This is all sweet. Can we talk? Look at this mess that I had to deal with. But you'll understand, because look at the size of these tomatoes. Part of me wants to rip out of bed so bad, and I just don't do it because there's still tomatoes galore. This is the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. As you can see, the wind has knocked some off and dried them. So if it keeps drying it, I'm going to save it for seed. So this is the terrible condition of this tomato bed. But it has produced and is still producing a ton of tomatoes. I just can't really see in the middle. It is a chore for sure. The large cherry tomatoes in there. Basil, still looking good. More tomatoes. More tomatoes. So, yeah, I'm waiting for one of these to thin out so I can just rip it out. I have a lot of tomatoes. I mean, if I would have just grown tomatoes and did nothing else. What is that? Some kind of bug. If I would have just grown tomatoes, based my shed wars this year just on tomatoes alone, I would have made my weighted goal. So if that tells you anything, and my plants got beat up from the storms and still gave me amazing amounts of tomatoes. There's the other basil on this bed that has bungee cords and everything holding it together. I get a lot of questions about like cracking on the top of my tomatoes. They're heirloom tomatoes. They're meant to look like that. Yeah. So this bed here has had a lot of work done to it to keep these plants up, because these plants are all out of the bed and I have to crawl in there to get them on a daily basis. I put that there just to kind of push them back in a little bit. But you can see they're still flowering. So I don't know. I have no room for my fall garden yet, and I'm going to have to sacrifice one of these beds. So let me keep moving in case this phone decides it wants to be goofy. There's the purple basil. Okay, peppers, tomatoes. Look at this. This is the spaghetti squash taking over, and the butternut squash taking over. It's finding all out. Beautiful zinnias. Beautiful zinnias. Look at them all. Just fantastic. It's really hard to rush garden tours, but look at this hot mess. I have to do a major haul on my eggplants because, yeah, that's eggplants. They're that tall and they're actually starting to branch out. I have carrots, I have onions, and that's all eggplant. So yeah, the spaghetti squash is taken over. So is the butternut squash. Look at how big this spaghetti squash is. So I have to hop over everything. It's crawling all over the grounds. Beautiful blooms. There's another butternut. And this, I think, was my mini pumpkins. Not really sure. It's been so hot here. 110 with the humidity, 106 with the humidity, and it's kind of crisping up my cucumbers. Again, per usual. Beautiful marigolds, but this is the bed. It's been so prolific. You can see one right there. Another one right there. This is the bed where it was blown completely diagonal. So, basil's doing good. I'm going to get ready to harvest some of this off because I want to make pesto. This was an experiment, see if I can get a big snowball of mint, and I did. The outer edges started to look weird, so I cut it, and I was a little afraid to do that, but as you can see, there's growth. So I'm going to let this go. I'm going to harvest this at the end of the season. I have to harvest all my cabbages. This is I think it's the pumpkin. That's what I think it is. taken over, and so has the watermelon been taken over. There's watermelon right there, if you can see that. A black one right next to it. There is just so much watermelon in here, hanging everywhere and hidden in spots and vining all out. This is my one that I'm trying to figure out if it's ready to pick. There's cantaloupe. More. Another watermelon. And guess what? Cosmic Cultivators. I was able to find my tag icebox watermelon because this is starting to thin out a little bit. Hopefully, the rest of them can ripen in time. But there's one cantaloupe. There's two cantaloupes. Possible third. You come out here early in the morning, you have to watch for these little tiny spider webs. It's crazy. Another cantaloupe on the fence. More cantaloupe. There's one back there. And it's been vining up this sunflower. That's head just dropped. This is a trellis to try to keep these tomatoes in, which is a joke. I have from my tower, I can't get to my blue tower because of the tomatoes, but I have beans down here. I harvested the celery. I'm going to put something in here for fall. And let's keep going. So yeah, look at the size of this watermelon. I am trying to figure out. It's so big too. Oops. I'm so afraid to pick it because I want it to be ripe. It's also against the fence, so it's hard to tell. And it is just heavy. That's got to weigh at least 100 pounds. It may not look like it. This is a sustainable seed for heavyweight watermelon in a small area. There's a ton more back in here. It's just hard to get in here at the current moment. Let me move that out of the way. You have to dig around. They're hiding in there. And I'm assuming these are the blooms to the jack-o'-lantern that was supposed to die. As you can see, it's not. I'm just letting it trellis all over. And look at that beauty right there. That watermelon, there's another watermelon right next to it. It's a decent size, and it's trellising up. The sunflower, look at the size of the head that I have to harvest. For sunflower seeds. And let's keep going. More beautiful zinnias. This is my second stint of potatoes. I was trying a different method to hill them. I kept saying hold them, hill them up. They're starting to look like they're falling over and dying. We'll see. Like I said, it was an experiment. I already got a haul of potatoes earlier, just on an experiment. Looky, looky, looky. I was working on this. I left one out. I ripped out all the zucchinis and I planted new ones. It's been so hot here that my strawberries are crispy, but I have zucchini, another zucchini, 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 zucchini. Went all the way down. I have, when you turn behind you, the butternut squash, like I said, is taken over. I'm waiting to see acorn squash. I think it was just too many squashes in this area, and this is starting to die back. So I think this whole bed I'm going to end up ripping out, and I got to harvest my cabbages. And I did pick this is a white, but it gets a little yellow, eggplant. The zinnias, this is the back side. So many sunflowers. And I couldn't even show you my 14-foot sunflower. I have more cucumbers back here. Let me try to show you my, Jimmy measured it, 14 foot. There's the bottom. Follow me, because the bloom is done. Look at how high up that is. Easy. Originally it was 12. We measured it again, it was 14. And the bees are just loving sunflowers. And that's why I put more fresh cucumbers right there. So this is the row, the wall of sunflowers. This is the carrots. That took forever with a little nasturtium. But the carrots, I have onions, and I have to do a major harvest on eggplants. I have an Oswald in there that's like a giant. There's so many eggplants in here. This one broke because one was so heavy with another one on it. So I have to get in here and pick these, and then just have to figure out how I am going to preserve them. There's so many eggplants and a lot more blooms. As you can see, the bumblebees hard at work pollinating or the flowers. So I'm just going to pluck them. This is Easy Pick Gold Rush. Another bloom. I cut a lot of it back. Was ready to rip it out. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. You see? It's got new growth. You can tell the old leaves. I don't use any pesticides, so it is what it is. Sunflowers. That was the black cherry that's getting a little spent. Here's my sweet potatoes that look like it was dying off. They look so much better than they were. That's in the big pot. Here's what the white eggplant looks like. I'm going to be eating eggplant out the ears. I'm trying to get in here, but there's so many bees. It's hard to show you it all. But these are getting pushed out because they're getting so heavy. I'm going to have to push that one up some. There's just eggplants. The big ones are buried in here, so let me not get stung. See? I'm trying to get you to see. Huge. Can't even explain. Huge. But look at how fantastic these eggplants are doing. They're tall, they're high. This is that lemon basil that's falling over. Nasturtium. I want to see if I missed anything because I really tried to hustle. I planted some arugula down here. I think lettuce or Swiss chard. But I never got to finish the rest of this because we've been in severe temps. Tabasco peppers. My Detalii peppers are finally coming in. That basil there looks like it needs to be put in the shade today. Looks like it's getting a little too burnt. And more peppers. Lots and lots of peppers. Another Detalii. The leaves just look weird on this plant. I don't think I would do this one again in a pot. But I've seen somebody do it and they said it was fine. So there's the eggplant bed. They're huge. Sweet peppers and hot peppers. And then there's the sweet right there in the middle. And then those two beds of tomatoes. And the front bed of tomatoes. This is empty. I'm trying to get my things in for fall and I'm having a hard time doing that. The turnarounds. I have California Gigantea flowers. Aren't they just beautiful? Look at all the beautiful colors this morning. These are all my zinnias. I get hummingbirds, bees, my rose bushes in there. And then I have the lemon balm right here, which I'll do a big harvest on. The bee balm I'll do a big harvest on. And I'm really not sure what this is. I'm not sure if this is a weed or what this is. But I do see, I think this one is a weed. Bee balm, it's getting a little suffocated. There's another one of those back there. Another sunflower. Just all the beautiful sunflowers. So some things are looking a little spent. You know, that happens this time. It's August. Look at all these pink. I think it's the pink. These might be the cut and grow again ones. Sherbert ones, I think they're called. Chamomile, I've been harvesting a lot. I need to harvest some more, obviously. We got a man down. Now this was a dwarf sunflower. I have to cut that head for the seeds. Beautiful. Just absolutely, the show they've been putting on this year is unbelievable. I'm saving seeds from that. I get these little canary birds that keep coming and eating the seeds. Okay, so bee balm over here is getting a little, there it is, with the zinnias. Sunflower, lemon balm over here is doing pretty good. The other one over there is just a little bit bigger. But my row of flowers, bee balm, and lemon balms in here with my rose bush. And let me see. Some more tomatoes. More tomatoes in there, if you can see that right there. Tomatoes. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. I just got a little scorched from the weather. I mean, this is Saturday morning. And yesterday was 110 with the humidity, I think they said. I just picked this off and then come back, get it later. But these are the herbs. This is the new parsley that I planted a little ways back. It's doing pretty good. I harvested all the other. We have oregano, Italian oregano, the sage, all doing good. I just have to sacrifice one of my tomato beds so that I can have a fall garden. I still try to keep my rows as clean as humanly possible, but it's August and I have down leaves. If you can see over there, some yellow leaves are falling. I made a pile yesterday. I did do a video on that. Stay tuned. That will be a Shed Wars video. And endless sea of tomatoes. And look at how tall they are. But they've done me very well this year. I just have to get out here and pick beans. Let's talk about this. I always leave this out on my garden tour by accident. All my kales. The kales that I plant, let me see. I did Laciato, dinosaur kale, curly kale. There's a zinnia. This is my edamame, and I'm just not sure when to pick it, but it's looking pretty good. Need to harvest some kale for sure. And I did plant more kale seeds a little ways back, of each type. I planted next to it. So this is that little bed that I built for the kale, which is right there next to the cellar doors. Okay, let's go out and take a look at, look at this pink oxheart tomato. I mean, how can you miss it out your eye? Huge. Ugh, I just don't feel like picking tomatoes today. I'm tomatoed out. I have my seed starts. Can you see between the railings? I have my fall plants under there. Basil, rosemary, all that's still doing good. That basil I'm going to end up picking. And let's go over to the kitchen garden. And it's crazy. The sage is enormous. I have to harvest the Thai basil. I have to cut back the mammoth basil. This is the Mexican tarragon. This is my, I have some stray onions in here. St. John's wort, thyme. It's kind of getting really full. I think this might be a weed. Let's see. Nope. Thank God I didn't pull that. I think that's a holy basil. Cilantro. Cilantro is a happening. I'm going to pinch this part off. But I'll have some cilantro, mammoth basil, rosemary. But this plant just took over, which is the Thai basil. So took over. So did the sage. This filled out great. I butchered my chives, gave them a big haircut, and look at it. They're already back. Doing amazing. Lemon thyme. The other one's a different thyme, German thyme. I have Italian oregano back there. And let's get, look at the leaves around here. Can we talk about this? If you've ever seen a leaf this big, no idea what kind of tree that's from. I have not been over here. Completely neglected it. Extra peppers, along with the weeds. Raspberry bushes, amazing. You don't belong on there. I don't know what that was, but it looks scary. The raspberry bush is going nuts. Apple trees are doing good. They held up to the storms. I don't know what these are, but there's a ton flying around the grass over here. So the peppers are doing good. Lots of peppers, I gotta pick them. And I have another separate garden of tomatoes. Blueberry bushes. Blueberry bushes are fine. Yeah, I actually see tomatoes. Looks good. So this is that side garden to have extra tomatoes and peppers going into fall. That was the game plan with this. And who knew I'd be this swamped in tomatoes. So everything is really looking good over here. Doing quite well. I may have to spend just a little bit of time on this bed today and go through it and see what's going on. There are tomatoes there too. So these were left in the cup. Looks fantastic, and the peppers really look good. Okay, so that's the side. Extra spare peppers and tomatoes in case, I didn't get any this year. And the kitchen garden, showed you all that. Everything's doing fantastic with this heat. This is just a funny story. You ready? I bought this one thinking I didn't have any cherry tomatoes from a box store, Home Depot to be exact. Storm came the other night and snapped it. And that's like my life story with tomatoes this year. It snapped the whole stem, so I just have it leaning up against the fence. It just is what it is. And there is the beautiful garden that has produced more than I could ever imagine in amount of food. I mean, I've grown over even what I thought I was going to grow. And I worried, and everything just looks fantastic. I have some crazy looking pepper plants hanging out of the beds, but I have to majorly pick more beans today. Oh, majorly. So that is my garden tour. Sorry, folks, for why I haven't done any. And that's because I have been picking tomatoes twice a day, every day, and having phone issues with this new software. This is early. I'm hoping this all goes through as one video. Either chops it in half, or you can't even open the camera with the heat here. And this phone never did that. It's because of the new Samsung 21 upgrade. It's just horrible. So hopefully I didn't leave anything out. I love you all, and God bless you. I hope that you enjoyed early August garden tour, and I will catch you all on the next one. Stay blessed and happy harvesting.